So if we go back to our virtual machine and we go to our external IP address and we refresh, hey, we have a web server running. So this is our default index.html page that Apache installs by default. If you see this page, congrats, you have a web server. Obviously, this is not useful other than telling you it's running. So let's go ahead and fix that. This is where things may get a little tricky for you. I've been doing this for quite a long time, so I'm very comfortable in the terminal. I know not everybody is. I will show you two different ways you can go ahead and do this, what I'm going to be doing now. So first and foremost, doing something off screen here. Okay, so in Apache, all of our web files are going to live in /var/www/html. In Linux, to get there, it's cd/var/www/html. This is going to change our directory, and you see it update right here. We are now in that directory. If we do an ls, this will tell us what files are there. And we see here, this is the index.html page that's rendering behind my terminal. All right. If I want to change that, I need to use a text editor. Or you need to do it on your computer and then upload it to the server. Okay, so two different things we have to deal with here. I like to use Vi or Vim, which is a very nice, easy to use text editor with a massively steep learning curve. If you want to learn Vim, go ahead. I'll try to shout out the commands I'm running kind of to move along. If you're just getting started, I would say use nano. So sudo nano index.html. Enter. So here we have a text editor. I can basically just type in like a normal Word or Notepad type thing. If I want to save, it's Control O, and you see file name to write, index, enter, and then Control X to exit. Make sure when you are editing files in this directory, you preface it with sudo, because watch what happens. If I do nano index.html, and I just start, let's go down to some actual content here. So let's say I want to add on a new header. H1, hello, CIS658. Not sure I'm adding in spaces. And now I want to save it. So Control O, I'm going to get a big error, permission denied. All files in the web directory are locked to the specific user group for Apache. And by default, you are not part of that. Now, it's probably going to be easiest for this class just to run sudo when you edit the files. In a more production environment, you'd assign permissions, create groups, that kind of thing. I think out of scope for this class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out and make sure that I sudo this. So let's go down and do the exact same thing. I'm scrolling through all of the content for web stuff. Sorry, for the CSS code. And let's add in our H2 or H1, hello CIS658. Don't know why I added this space here. It does nothing. All right, if I save it, update it, and I refresh the page, there's my text, right? So basically I've edited this page. Now, I'm going to get rid of this page because I don't like this default thing. So I'm going to do sudo rm index.html. rm is going to remove the file. Sudo is again admin privileges. It is now gone. When I refresh this, I'll get a index listing. Also something you usually want to lock down. We may talk about that later. So if I go sudo nano index.html again, I can say HTML, HTML, body, body. You'll have materials for HTML and CSS and all that fun stuff to work through as well. H1, hello there, CIS658. This vid is getting a tad long. We'll probably wrap up soon. Not sure why it did that. Interesting. Now it's doing some kind of weird text wrapping. All right, save, refresh. There we go. Okay. Again, it has to be in that directory for it to work. So the other thing I want to show you is let's do this locally on your own computer. So I'm going to create a file here, and I'm using gvim. Nothing, use whatever you prefer. And need to remember to set the default font one of these years. Maybe this year will be that year. Okay, so HTML, body, hi. We'll do this nice quick one. And we'll say, call this drop down desktop, CIS658.html. Okay, so standard web page. Hopefully you're all aware that you can literally just open up a file that's HTML and render it in your browser, right? But this is what we've got going on here. Now, I want to upload this to Google Cloud. So what I do is I click the gear icon, upload file, and then I upload this thing to my server. We see file transfer finished, life is good. The thing to note is where it went. Every single time you upload a file, it goes to your home directory. So you see the /home/ my username in Google, right? That's not where it needs to be, right? Because what I want to do is say /CIS658.html, not found. So in order to move that, I need to run sudo mv, and I'm going to give you the shortcut command. Hopefully that's not too confusing. tilde, which means go to the home directory of the current user. And then dot. So what I'm doing here, I am in the HTML directory. Okay, so this is one of the caveats. I'm in this directory. So admin access, move file, which is cut and paste, from my home directory / whatever file I want to move to the current directory, which is period. Okay, so basically move from the target to the destination. Period means current directory, tilde means your home directory. So now if I do another ls, I see my CIS658, I refresh, here's my page. All right, let's try one more example because I want to show you the other way to do things. So let's say you are in your home directory. Now what I did there really quickly is I moved the file back, and now I changed to my home directory. Every time I highlight something, Google's automatically copying it so that I could say copy and paste it later on, which is kind of nice. So clear ls pwd. PWD tells you where you are if you forget. So this is basically print your working directory. I am currently in my home directory, /home/ Eric Fredericks. It'll be, again, /home/ whatever your username is. CD tilde gets me here, CD /home Eric Fredericks gets me to the same place. You see the little tilde there as well to remind you. But this is the other side. We are in our home directory. We want to move the file to the web directory. So what do we have to do? Sudo, again, we always need that for moving into Apache. You don't need it if it's not locked, right? I could say move CIS658 to hello CIS658. And this is basically just going to rename it. Didn't need sudo there. I want to move it back so that we can have the names straight. Again, we don't need to sudo that. It's only when we go to a protected directory. So sudo mv, since we are in the current directory, we just call the file by name, and then we want to move it to the HTML directory. So /var /www/html, and then I'm going to put a dot here just for my own benefit. You don't need that, but I don't want to accidentally rename the HTML directory to be this, so I always like that as a little comfort in my mind. But basically, move this file to the web directory. Okay. Again, same thing. Now if we look inside var www.html, we see it there again. Life is good. A lot of talk about moving files around. I know this can be a pain point for some people. Practice and just get used to it. if you break your virtual machine, you can always delete it and reinstall. Okay, so the last thing to talk about here, and this is getting really long for a video now, let's install MySQL and let's install PHP. Right, so we have Apache running, we know about the IP address, now let's get MySQL. This is going to be a database server which you could use to store persistent data, right? We may not use this a whole lot, but it's nice to have. Okay, so now we're going to install MySQL Server, which is going to be our database server for persistent storage. You can use Node or PHP to talk to it if we need. We may not use it too much, but it's going to be good to have. So we've installed MySQL Server. Now we're going to secure it by basically configuring the machine or the database server by running MySQL secure installation. Usually it will ask you to what validation level you want. I had done this a few minutes back and ended up canceling it out and redid it. It's up to you how complicated your password should be. Usually the stronger the better. Just make sure that what password you're setting here you remember, because this is the root password, meaning the super user for your database server. Okay. I didn't type my password in correctly. Yes, we'll use that password. And then the rest of the things, we're just going to hit enter to accept the default values. Okay, so that is good. And we could say sudo mysql. We're logged in. Hooray. Get out. Last thing, let's install PHP. So PHP is going to be a server-side scripting language. We may do one or two things with it, but tends to be not, I guess, taught as much anymore. I like PHP. I think it does, it serves its purpose well. People make fun of it a lot, but it's still a decent server-side scripting language. But it's pretty easy to install. Last thing that we're going to do with this is we're going to create a test page just to demonstrate that PHP works. So I'm going to go into var www.html. I'm going to use sudo test.php. I'm using Vim again. You would just use Nano for this part. Basically, the reason why I'm kind of not talking too much about Vim is you have to I to enter text, keys move around when you're not in edit mode, colon W saves, colon Q quits. It's complicated, but I quite like it. Anyway, this page is just outputting information about PHP for a host. So save that, do an ls. I see I have this test.php file here, and if we navigate to that, we see PHP is installed, meaning I can run any PHP application. Okay, super long video. If you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. This is probably going to be one of the more painful things to get used to, the navigating the Linux terminal with Google Cloud, but once you get it, it's really not that bad. If you need practice, I would say just practice moving files around, understanding the difference between sudo and normal commands, and yeah, give it a shot. Anyway, hope this helped. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions or comments, or if anything's not working for you, and I'll do my best to help debug. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.